The movie Marvels, or Captain Marvel 2, is released worldwide, which the audience wanted to say waited 4.5 years, but probably more correctly to say just presented 4.5 years after the release of the first part. And all because hardly so many people were waiting for the sequel with Brie Larson. Perhaps as a consequence of this sad fact, box office receipts for the novelty are predicted to be at the level of, if not the lowest in the history of Marvel, then one of the lowest for the entire existence of the studio, which, given the difficulties of production and its cost, in fact, draws a line for the character of Carol Danvers, Brie Larson's career in Marvel, and generally leaves a lot of questions about the direction in which the studio is now moving. And as it turned out, some of the largest English-language media decided to start a campaign to find excuses for the failure of Marvels and, so to speak, remove responsibility from all involved. It all sounds more than ridiculous, and now you will see for yourself. Hello everyone, more with stars, and here we go. So, we're not going to discuss the Marvels movie now. We'll talk about it a little later in a separate video, so be sure to subscribe to our channel who hasn't done it yet so you won't miss it. And who wants to know everything even faster? Click on the bell. So, as for Marvel's dues, they, at least if you believe the predictions, promise to be a near disaster. At the same time, of course, to explain this state of affairs to the bosses of Marvel and Disney is not so easy, because, for example, the first movie Captain Marvel, released in 2019, collected more than $1 billion, and here was expected long-awaited sequel and such a fiasco. So, the House of Mouse apparently decided to attract the help of those with better eloquence. Let them come up with it. So now some very reputable media outlets have started making up preemptive excuses for the failure of the Marvel movie, Disney and Marvel Studios. Here, for example, is what a Deadline publication wrote about Marvel just the other day. But a brand by itself doesn't sell. You need stars. It could be argued that part of the expected downturn in next weekend's opening weekend for the Marvel movie from Disney and Marvel Studios is due to the studio's inability to properly promote the picture. Even if the strike subsides this weekend, it's unclear if the cast of the movie will be able to attend Marvel fan events in Vegas in the coming week. So it wouldn't be a shock if the following weekend in November, we see that Marvel's had one of the lowest starts for a Marvel Studios movie with less than $70 million, which is less than Forever 2021. Well, for a better understanding, Deadline, in full seriousness, wrote that Marvel's will fail because the Striking Actors Guild forbids its members to promote the movies at various events now. And kind of like, this is almost the main reason for the future box office collapse of the novelty. Needless to say, this is complete nonsense, which such a respected and kind of solid publication as Deadline could write only if someone asked them very strongly. Who exactly? I've guessed from one time, and there are enough such articles now. But I want to quote you another excerpt, as in the edition Breadboard just mercilessly troll such nonsense from Deadline and others paid by Disney. Next is Straight Talk. Oh yeah, the lack of a Comic-Con is a problem. That's why Marvel's looks like a box office disaster. The lack of Star Force, if only the stunningly charismatic Brie Larson could show off how fun she is, singing along to a backing track with Jimmy Fallon. If only her two co-workers could— oh wait, who are her other two co-workers? Oh, that's right, no one knows them because they're not stars. They were hired to promote diversity. One of them is the messenger of the Disney Plus Ms. Marvel streaming series that no one liked. The other one I don't know at all. Yes, let's introduce them at Comic-Con. That would make a difference. Can you imagine things being so good that the entertainment media humiliates itself in this way by making up all this nonsense? Oh no, it's not Disney's or Marvel's fault. It has nothing to do with Marvel becoming a cult that worships identity politics. It has nothing to do with stars having all the charm and charisma of Zero. No, it's all the cast strike's fault. And it's not enough that there is actually no more popular movie universe than Marvel. Well, or rather there wasn't, and that during this almost 5-month strike a lot of movies successfully launched. Barbie, Oppenheimer, Five Nights at Freddy's, and many, many others, which were not hindered by the strike. Well, few people have the courage to admit the truth. Today's movies are bad, mainly because filmmakers are abandoning plot and characters in favor of their political positions. And so on. I think you got the gist of it, and it's really hard not to agree with it. and not to admit that the excuse is about failure because of a kind of weak representation of the movie. It's as ridiculous as it is funny. So it's time to recognize the truth, and it will be very curious. Whether Marvel, together with Disney, will decide to do it, so we will follow the development and keep you informed. And in order not to miss anything, subscribe to our channel, click on the bell, and be sure to watch the video. Thank you all, and see you soon.